One of the most common things that I hear from first-time wedding officiants is some version of, I just need to sit down and write the ceremony. But then they open up their laptop, they try to customize a script that was written for somebody else, where they cobble together different scripts on the internet, and maybe these days they'll grab a couple of scripts from ChatGPT, but then they feel overwhelmed because nothing is feeling right. If that's you, don't sweat it, because that's a really common experience. In this video, I'll show you a way to organize your writing efforts to combat those feelings of overwhelm and writer's block. Hey, I'm Katie. I'm the creator of Something Borrowed Ceremonies. I help people just like you, friends, family, coworkers, people who got asked to officiate and are now feeling slightly in over their heads, actually write and deliver a phenomenal wedding ceremony. That is my primary mission, but my secondary mission is to help you feel empowered and excited throughout the process, not stressed and overwhelmed. So today I'm going to show you the actual structure of a modern wedding ceremony, show you which parts are more of a template than others, and give you the exact order to write it in. And listen, I know that the word template is kind of a dirty word for officiants because the assumption is that it's going to be boilerplate or cliche, but bear with me because that's not what I mean. And we'll dig into this further a little bit later in the video. But by the end of this video, my hope is that you have an actionable strategy for writing the ceremony that feels far less overwhelming. With that, let's get into it. First, I want to name the problem that you are likely experiencing. When most people sit down to do this, they think the task is to write the ceremony, as if it's one single task. And then they try to write it the way you would write an essay or a work email or really anything else. You start at the top and you grind it out straight through the end, section by section in order. But I advise that you do something a little bit different, because if you write in order, you are going to get stuck on some of the hardest, most personal writing in the whole script. So you sit down full of good intentions, you immediately run into the hardest part. You spend 2 hours on a paragraph, and then you walk away without meaningful progress and kick the can down the road, and you begin the procrastination cycle because you feel emotionally overwhelmed and unsuccessful. Here's the thing, a wedding ceremony isn't one writing project. It's really more like 11 small ones and 2 bigger ones. And each section is wildly different in difficulty. Some of them you're basically choosing off of a menu of options, whereas others require more creative energy. But if you treat them all like they're equally hard, you'll burn all your energy in the wrong places and run out of steam before you get to the parts that actually matter. So let's fix that. Here's the full structure of a modern wedding ceremony. You've got the officiant announcements, the processional, the welcome statement, the acknowledgements, the grounding, the officiant introduction, the love story, readings and rituals, the declaration of consent, the vows, the ring exchange, the and kiss, and the closing remarks. But we are going to split these sections into 2 distinct piles. Most of those sections, including the announcements, the welcome, the acknowledgements, the vows, the ring exchange, the declaration, the pronouncement, those are what I call the scaffolding. They follow roughly the same shape at almost every wedding. If you've officiated a few times or you do this professionally, you can play with the structure a little bit more, but for first-time officiants, your job isn't to reinvent the wheel. It's really to work with the couple to ask them what they want, make some strategic adjustments, select options that feel right to the couple, and then do some light editing so it really fits them. And that's the job. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the words template and scaffolding might have a negative connotation. It might seem like what I'm suggesting is something boilerplate or uncreative, but I actually believe that you want these sections to feel familiar to the couple and their guests. This might change over time as trends change, but as of today, people show up to wedding ceremonies with expectations. They've been to weddings before and they know roughly how this is supposed to sound. So if you get super experimental with things like the declaration of consent or ring exchange, you run the risk of confusing everyone. People expect that there's going to be some moment where the couple says, I do or I will. But if you as the officiant are like, wow, I'm gonna flip this whole thing on its head and do something really unique, then you need to stick the landing, and that's hard for first-time officiants to do, or anyone without public speaking experience. The goal is a ceremony that's unique, not a ceremony that's weird. So that's pile 1. It's a big one, but it shouldn't be too scary. Then there's pile 2, and it's really not that big of a pile, it's just 2 sections, and that's the officiant introduction and the love story. These are the 2 that really draw on you creatively. They require your memories about the couple, and then you'll write about what's actually true about them, the stuff that you gathered from interviews and questionnaires with the couple and their friends and family family. This is ultimately where you stop choosing from a menu of options and you start really writing from scratch. This is where you are actually going to stare at a blank page. And this is where the ceremony either comes alive or falls completely flat. So here's the reframe that I want you to take from this whole video. The ceremony is 13 parts. 11 of them are mostly assembly with research-based customization. 2 of them are the whole ballgame. This, by the way, is the real heart of my course, More Than Words. I spend a lot of the course on those 2 sections because they're the 2 that are genuinely challenging and carry the entire thing. And I give you high-performing script examples for a lot of the other stuff. I'll share a little bit more about that later though. So now that you have the 2 piles, you might be wondering, okay, I understand the strategy, like how do I actually do this? I advise 4 moves. Step 1, write the easy sections first, and that is pile 1. I know it feels backwards and every instinct just says to start with the hard stuff first or to just run down the list, but I want you to ignore that instinct. Start with the scaffolding. That includes the welcome, as I've already mentioned, the acknowledgements, vows, re-exchange, those sections. Get those to 70 to 80% of the way done, and these should be good enough, not perfect. And the reason this works is mostly psychological. By the time you get to the hard part, most of your ceremony is already sitting there in the document, basically finished. You're no longer staring at a blank page anymore. You're just filling in the last 2 pieces. That's a completely different feeling, and it allows you to get these really lovely quick wins before you dive into the real work. Step 2 focuses on how you actually write those sections. And how I advise is to write 1 section every time you sit down and not the ceremony. This is the biggest overwhelm killer that I've got for you. Do not sit down to work on the ceremony. That's too big. Your brain is going to short circuit. Sit down to write the welcome statement. Just that. Next time, sit and write the acknowledgements. Just that section. 1 section per session. You'll be shocked how fast the pile shrinks when the job is that small. We do not want to ever make mountains out of molehills. Once you have these sections done, step 3 is to let those sections give you a word budget. This one's a little bit sneaky, but I personally really love it. Once your scaffolding is roughly done, read it through and time it. Say the couple wants a 30-minute ceremony, which is pretty standard these days. Most couples want somewhere between like 20 and 25. You read through all the scaffolding, add up the time, and let's say it comes out to be about 21 minutes for the couple that wants a 30-minute ceremony. That means that you have 9 minutes left in your word budget, and 9 minutes is roughly 1,800 words maximum. That will be your budget for the officiant introduction and the love story combined, or anything that you want to add to the ceremony that adds customization. That number is a gift because now when you write the hard part, you're not writing into the void. You've got a real constraint. You know exactly how much room you have so you can make it count, instead of accidentally writing a 12-minute monologue about the night that they met. Step 4, now and only now, write the officiant introduction and love story. And put your real energy here. This is the part that's actually about these 2 specific people. As I've already mentioned, this is the part that is going to make or break the ceremony. And quick note, because I see this kind of trip people up, when I say love story, I don't mean that it has to be a chronology of how they met. If your cliche alarm kind of goes off when I say love story, that's good, mine too. The love story section is just a space where you say what's actually true and important about this couple, where you recognize kind of their path to marriage, whatever that means to them. Sometimes that's how they met, sometimes that is a chronology of their relationship together, but a lot of times it is more thematic and you're focusing on really what drew them together, what have been the core components of their relationship, and kind of the themes throughout. This is the part that really makes attendees lean in and makes the couple feel recognized. And it's worth every bit of energy that you saved by not agonizing over the ring exchange or trying to reinvent the wheel there. So, quick recap, a ceremony is 13 parts, but really it's 2 piles or 2 groups. Write the easy scaffolding pile first, 1 section at a time, and get it to 70 to 80% of the way done. Let that pile tell you how many words you've got left, then spend your real creativity on the sections that are going to pack a punch. Now, if you want my whole strategy with you, section by section, that's exactly why I built More Than Words. It's a $49 course made for first-time officiants. You will get all of my templates, scripts, checklists, roadmaps, and video modules that walk you through every step. The link is in the description. If this helped, hit like and subscribe. I put out stuff for first-time officiants every week, and I really want you walking into that ceremony feeling good. I'll see you in the next video.